Let me make sure my hand is
Jack, you got one.
You have to. Christie.
The vice president like that.
Where do they usually keep it? I'll just give the mark. Because this one Chris gave me. Actually, this is an extra.
That one is so cute compared to this one.
Chris gave that one.
Yeah.
All right. Call to order, stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moment of silence. You may be seated. Roll call, Debbie.
Yes, sir. Bill Heidenreich,
Yeah.
Eileen Dunn, Rick Agler,
Here.
Donna Mosier, Barry Burgess, Lemay Knifer, Ed Weiner.
Here. Okay, proof of notice.
Notice was posted Monday morning. This Monday morning.
All right, disposition of prior meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
I so move.
All in favor of accepting the minutes as passed out?
Aye.
Objection? Okay, approved. Treasurer's report. Motion would be in order to accept as passed out. Second? Do I have a second? Not a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye,
Opposed? Carried.
Mr. President.
Yes,
Just two minor items to add to that. I've discovered that our allowance for doubtful accounts is probably an error the way it's being handled. If it wouldn't be an error, we have 75.7% doubtful accounts compared to what we have receivables. I think they've got it accumulating instead of being expensed. We'll take care of that before next time, bring it to attention. And while I'm talking about that, we've had great cooperation from resource management on our trying to get our balances to earn as much as possible, put it that way. You know, we've got almost 900,000 at the higher rates, and now the rest of it, another almost million. We can work with, not all of it, because we have to have stuff available. So we're working on that, and resource management has been very cooperative. 3, the audit is out. I think everybody's been notified by that. If anybody wants a copy of it, it's in the office. Thank you.
Rick, what item were you talking about that was wrong on the sheet? Is it on this report?
It's not on that report, no. It affects it by the receivables down there. But in the details, there's an account, 00311, allowance for doubtful accounts. And I list that there's a $73,332 allowance for doubtful accounts. And our receivables are only $96,815, which is a 75.7% bad accounts. And that's not correct. What this normally is a small percentage of 2 or 3%. And it has to be calculated every time the balance is there as part of the balance. Otherwise, it should only be, $6,000 or $7,000. And instead, they've been allowing it to accumulate in this account, which is not correct. We'll get that. Jack and I will work
But
on
it's
it.
not on this report, right?
No, it's not on that report. It's in my details. Thank you.
All right, moving on. Managers report.
Okay, I'll try to make this as brief as possible, even though it's too big long. The large leaning oak tree and the dead tree in Ranch Park were removed September 21st. To shorten the second paragraph, after having to contact Commissioner Jack Mariano to get the county to respond, the county is, between the end of October, early November, going to install the speed humps on Ponderosa Avenue. And one of them is going to be between Maricopa and Ranch Road. They did agree to move that one. The county is telling me after they videotaped and researched the storm drain over here in this parking lot by the tennis courts, they're stating nothing's wrong with it and that we can go ahead and proceed with a paving project. And if something happens, they will take care of it.
We have that in writing.
Yeah, I saved the email and printed it.
Okay.
The problem with that is if we pave the parking lot, then we're gonna have a spot again that we have to fix, and it won't look as nice, that's for sure.
I had to put in a county records request to get a copy of the videotape, which I did receive. And there is at one point where the camera goes underwater and a notation is made on the screen that there's a dip in the pipe. Not what causes it or anything to that effect. And when I questioned that, they said, we've observed the video, there's nothing wrong with the pipe. And that's what they're sticking to, unfortunately.
Did they only say there was one pipe running under that?
No, you have one coming from Ponderosa to the drain in the parking lot. From the drain in the parking lot, you have 2 large pipes going out to the lake. They run tandem side by side, caddy cornered off the corner of the shuffleboard courts, and just under the corner of the pool deck, and they dump into the lake there. But there are 2 large, probably 10-inch pipes that come out of there.
I think there were more than that. John had found it somewhere on the internet. Maybe we need to contact John about whether there are more pipes running under that parking lot, because I'm sure there were at least 4. So I don't know where the others are, but I know we found one on the internet, so
Okay, I'll follow up on that.
thank you. John, did John want to say something? Because you,
No, just to verify that the 2 pipes running through there. Videotape from about 10 years ago.
From Ponderosa to the parking lot drain?
To the parking lot. So from the front of the clubhouse to the drain on the corner of Ponderosa and parking lot, there's also 2 pipes there also,
yeah.
which is an 18 and a 16. I think.
Yeah, well, our major concern was what's running underneath the parking lot and causing that settling along there. And they're stating that there's no issue.
I don't think they're being quite honest, so let's look into that a little bit.
I asked for them to notify me when they were going to be here so I could talk to them. They came out and did their thing and left without even notifying me.
Thank you.
FDOT, on the next paragraph, FDOT did on the front slope on 52 where sand getting all over the sidewalk. FDOT finally did come out. They cleaned off the sidewalk. They did install landscape fabric and sod immediately on the slope. I've got an irrigation company coming out to take a look because we don't have any irrigation out there. And that slope needs to be watered and taken care of in order for it to survive and stop further erosion.
I thought we did have irrigation out at,
There's a couple of rotator heads, rotors out there, but it doesn't cover the entire area. So I'm gonna have that looked at and I'll let y'all know what I find out about that. But they did put some sod down out there, some landscape fabric to help hold the slope. The maintenance staff sprayed all the wasp nests on all the overhangs where people were getting stung. Nick did a great job of cleaning up all the leaves out of the landscape beds, almost completely filling the dumpster down at the shop. The cleaning crew from Apex was here on September 22nd and they cleaned the kitchen. Mike has addressed the erosion issue on our property of La Madera. He has planted some ground cover out there and put in some irrigation to cover it to help it thrive. Bandit Fitness serviced the gym equipment on September 25th. On September 26th, AquaCal put the second geothermal unit for the pool back online. Just to bring everybody up to speed on the spa, the geothermal well pump that pumps from the lake is that the motor is burnt out. The motor is on back order. It should be here in 6 days. Once we have that, the spa will be fully back online. Ordered two new signs for the gate since we've had some issues with pets coming in, explaining what a service dog is and what a emotional support animal is. That's not acceptable. The maintenance staff painted more yellow striping on sidewalks around the bocce court to help stop people from stepping off the edge and twisting their ankle. On the morning of September 27th, the first load of the approved mulch by the board hit the parking lot. We're now on our third load. It makes it 60 yards of mulch. And the guys have been working really hard getting all that out there. Amen Air was contacted on September 27th about the wood shop AC. We have since discovered it's old, it's shot, it's no good. And you have proposals in your packages for replacement. The contractor for the pool deck drain out here, they did come out and address the settling drain and pavers on the deck, and we'll continue to monitor it, make sure it stays the way it's supposed to. Three Seasons trimmed some of the trees in the east and west parking lots. I called in a plumber to check out the leaking sink in the kitchen. As it was old and leaking in numerous places, the plumber replaced 3 different valves and the faucet neck, and it's all good now. The table saw, we had an issue with the table saw in the shop. It has since been fixed. I met with a reserve study company that the board approved at the previous meeting. With a lot of help from Debbie, we were able to update the pricing on many of the line items. We should receive the report soon. This will help us figure out the proper funding for next year's budget. As Rick mentioned, Debbie sent out the postcards for the financial audit being available to all the residents. The maintenance staff replaced all the AC filters in the building. Mark has done some touch-up painting around the clubhouse. Hot tub, I already brought you up to speed on that. The maintenance staff has also been pressure cleaning sidewalks around the community center here, because if we're going to bug the residents about theirs, we're going to take care of ours. And violations, 9/16 through 10/13. 74 first notices went out, 20 second notices went out, 1 final notice went out, and 129 were resolved. This is a mix of the old and new format letters, which will eventually all be the new formats. That is all I have. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions for the manager? Come up to the microphone, please.
Just that he's doing a very good job, and I love your smile.
I used the table saw yesterday and it wasn't working properly. I know how to work around it, but it's not working.
What is the issue? What's it doing?
Switching on. Flashing lights and it doesn't switch on.
They just fixed that with a new brake system on it. Mark, can you go, when you get a chance, can you check that out for me? Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Hopefully the emergency brake, the one they just put in didn't get triggered again. The problem is, if you triggered the emergency brake on it, it doesn't reset. You have to replace it. That's what they just did. So we'll have to look at it.
Okay, moving on to the art committee.
Ed Heber for the Art Committee. We received 17 requests, and all 17 appear to meet all the requirements, so we send them to you for your approval.
Make a motion, we approve the 17 recommended by the committee.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Committee reports. Okay, the first thing I have here in my file is a resignation letter from Patricia Welzunas, resigning from the orientation committee.
Orientation committee, also, we've lost Chris, who was the liaison. I said something to Donna. Donna, are you willing to be liaison? Do we need to vote on that, or just Donna's going to be liaison? But we do need someone to step up and volunteer to be on the orientation committee. We don't have enough now.
So if anyone's interested in being on the orientation committee, please drop your name at the office so we can put you on it.
Or you could jump up and down now and put your hand up like that. No?
Okay, other committee reports? Patty?
Good afternoon, Patricia French Wiselet for the Finance Committee. We had our meeting on Monday, September 25th, and we were surprised because the last couple of months, everything's been perfect, but we did end up with a couple of questions. There was an item of a payment to RPM for $250 with no backup, which is unusual in the Republic Service. That's the waste service. Normally, the bill is around $68 a month. So this 185 was quite a jump, and the committee was just wondering, is that going to be a recurring charge, or was that just a one-time special because something was being taken care of? Item 2011, creative ideas, that's janitorial supplies. The check, the cash disbursements said it was $425.25. But the check had been made out for $300, and we could see the copy of the check. So the committee was just wondering what was going on with that. And the final one is at the end of the cash disbursements, there was another payment to RPM for $3,940. I am rounding off all these numbers, and there was no explanation for that item also. So we were just kind of curious about it. And the committee would like to thank Chris Dabarsky for her many years of service to the Timber Oaks community. Chris has served on the TOXA board for several terms. She served as chair of the art committee, as well as serving on finance and budget committee, where she also served as chair. And the committee wishes her well as she begins the next phase of her life.
All right, Patty, just to let you know that Deb has all the backup to all your questions on your report right there in front of her.
Okay, well, check with it after the meeting.
Okay,
Thank
just
you.
want to make sure we do have all the backup on all your concerns.
Any question?
So are you saying you got the backup for?
I could, yeah.
What he just said?
Deb has the backup right there
Okay,
for all the questions on her,
okay.
on Patty's report.
You want to add anything to?
Go ahead, Debbie.
Just,
You
The
got
I-
a mic?
The item for the $250, that it's a transfer. It's a monthly transfer fee. That's it's always there. It's a transfer. The Republic Service Bill for $185.64 has been increased since May of 2020.
I mean, it's always that.
Yes, yep, that fee came in on 2020, and the board approved the increase. The Creative Idea check, the check was not made out for $300. It was made out for $452.25. It was short 3 cents. Okay, the invoice was $452.28. The check was $452.25. So it was a 3 cent difference, and the company was notified, and they said it's no problem. The backup for $3,940.40 from Resource Property Management. Somebody must have looked at it and maybe just didn't tell the other committee members, but there's a signature on it. And I have it right here. That's their billing. It's administrative fees. When they charge us for late notices, first notices, second notices going out, that's the fee. But
Thank you, Deb.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Ms. I.
Okay, any unfinished business? Chris Dabrowski, former board member, has resigned. She has moved back to Ohio. And so we have a board position that is open. It will only be till the elections in April, right? So you want to address that?
Well, anyone who's interested can let the office know. The other thing I wanted to say was, you know, what a great addition Chris was to this board. And I know she ran over and over, and I thought I would be the last one to say this, but she worked so hard. She was great with everyone, and she will truly be missed. So we didn't get to say this. It just kind of got missed at the last meeting. I thought she would still be here for this meeting, but she has already moved out. And we do wish her luck and the best in her endeavors from now on.
We're gonna miss all her goodies that she brings to the office.
Yes.
Yep. Live Oaks. Gary, do you have anything?
We have the November vendor coming up, where the vendors are inside. That's I think, November 4th. The Halloween dance coming up. We have the dance coming up next month, and we had a little thing we addressed with. Hi, Jerry Beers. We addressed something with Debbie in regard to the Timber Times, the Live Oaks Forum, and see if we can get that put on a page by itself. But we also don't want to incur an extra cost. And Debbie's looking into it, and because this way, if you cut up a form that's on there, you're not taking something else away. So, and that's about it. Oh, we also want to thank the board for giving us permission to have a lighting of a Christmas tree outside this year for the first time. The choirs are going to sing, not with my voice, but they will sing with much better voices. That's about it. So.
Barry, I was wondering, since we're getting so close to Christmas, has anything been decided about the Christmas dinner or what we had before the party?
Christmas dinner.
Well, we used to have, yeah, Christmas, choirlers would sing up on
No,
the,
we had Christmas dinner at your house.
yeah. We'll do that again, but for the whole community. Do you know if anything?
Yeah, no, we're not planning anything for Christmas. No open house as of right now.
It was voted on last year. I don't have the exact.
You know, as of right now, we're not.
What about, is there anything for Veterans Day?
Yeah, Veterans Day, we have that coming up. There's a team working on, and that's on November 11th.
Can I ask that you bring that up with your committee, the Christmas open house? I mean, I know we canceled it for last year, but that was something everyone kind of looked forward to.
You know, it was free food.
Yeah.
I like free food too.
Yeah,
But I don't like the prices of it, but I will mention it to them.
maybe we can do something
Give 'em a
less
cookie.
expensive, but
We can give them a cookie or
cookies
something.
would work, so
Yeah.
we don't care. Okay,
You know.
thanks.
Okay, any other old business or committee reports? Seeing none. Moving on to new business. Parking lot project.
Okay, despite the county's response to the drain issue, which I will look into further.
You're not coming through.
Hello?
Yeah, just keep it at your mouth.
All right. Despite the county not being cooperative with the drain issue in the parking lots, I have gone ahead. In a project of such magnitude, you need to get an engineer involved to make sure it's done right. I contacted the engineer, Robert Ugenschmidt, who was instrumental in getting the proper fix for the seawall. And so I assumed the board would approve him. He came out, met with me and Mark. We walked the parking lots, and he came up with several suggestions to get this done properly. Number one is a survey of the parking lots, which will show elevations, drainage, what have you. And that. Anyway, you need to have a survey done to establish all your benchmarks, your drainage issues and such problems. That is $1,800. The next part of the phase to getting this project done is they want to take, and the engineer is recommending they take core samples in several strategic locations around the parking lot, check to make sure that the base is in good condition and we don't need to replace any prior to an asphalt overlay. And then there's the third part of that, which is the engineer's overall proposal, which includes the initial discovery, preliminary plan, construction plans, and putting out the bids and reviewing the bids from the contractors for a total of $12,500. I talked to another engineering firm that I've used previously. They wanted $17,000. So Robert's bid here is well within what it should be. So I'm asking that the board approve Robert J. Ugesmith's engineering proposal, BTL Engineering Services for the coring samples at $1,566, and Gregory A. Shrimp's survey for $1,800.
Would you please explain, what was the $12,000?
That was for all the engineering. He's going to review the survey, the core samples, and if you look on the second page of his proposal, it's initial discovery, preliminary plan, construction plans, and then the bidding work. He'll review all the proposals we get and make recommendations to the board for which company, which paving company to use. We have not even contacted paving companies at this point.
So that's 1,566 plus 1,800, right?
Right, plus the engineer's 12,500.
There's no 12,500?
Yes, and like I said, I spoke to another engineering firm and they wanted 17,000 and change. to do the same work.
I don't either.
I believe Deb put it in all your packages.
Maybe it's the
It just doesn't give the total.
third page, third one.
Oh, the other report? Okay, there's a second report.
Yeah, you have the one from Robert J. Hughes-Smith, but on the second page, the total of those 4 items is $12,500.
And this we're paying out before we do anything.
Before you do anything, yes.
Wow.
It is a necessary evil to make sure the project is gonna be done properly. You can have any paving company just come in here and give you an overlay, but they screw up the drainage, and won't address any base problems that you may have, or any drainage issues that you may have.
I understand that. This just is a lot more than I thought it was gonna be. I mean, I thought it was gonna be the 1,500 we saw on the first page, and then we're at 12, so. Doesn't matter. It needs to be done. I'm not doing something and then having to go back 15 times and redo it and have it done wrong. So,
Is 12.5 the final total of all? Because you got the 1566, you got the 1800,
The 12.5 is separate.
and then the 12.5 on top of those two.
Right.
So we're talking another 3,000 almost,
Correct, total.
15,000.
So I'm asking for the 12.5, the 1,800, and the 1,500.
So a motion would be in place? Just get it. Do you need it now? Just for your information, Jenny fell and Rick's taking her to the hospital, but she seems to be okay. So keep her in your prayers.
do we have a total on all this? What is it, 12.5? 1,800 and the 15?
Yes.
$15,866 before we've gotten off the ground.
Correct.
What are we thinking this is gonna run to pave that?
Well, John got proposals, how long ago was it, Deb, on the paving?
Last summer.
That was 130,000 for the paving. But that was without any engineering or anything. That was just a straight up overlay. Both whole parking lots.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep. So we either spend $130,000 on a guess, or we pay an extra $16,000 to find out what we should be doing.
Correct.
Which would be, let's say, $146,000 compared to 130.
Well, and that 130,000 was also from a couple of years ago.
Right.
And asphalt is an oil product, and you know what's happened to that.
Let's put concrete in.
Yeah.
Crushed stone, pavers. Okay, thank you.
Neighbors.
Hey, Donna, did you have something?
I was just gonna say.
Can't hear you.
I was just.
Can't hear you.
Okay, got it. All right, I was just gonna confirm how much all this was, but we just went over all that, so that's why I put my hand down.
So a motion would be in order. Somebody want to make a motion?
I make a motion that we hire the engineering. We had this gentleman before, so hire Robert Hugenschmidt, engineering firm, in order to get the initial start on our paving project.
Do we have a second?
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Are you,
Opposed?
Are you going to include the surveying and the core well in that?
Yep.
15,000.
Okay.
15,866, Debbie.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on. Wood shop AC replacement. Come up to the microphone, please. Nobody can hear you.
I'm sorry.
Or can someone take the mic to him? Thank you.
I'm sorry, can we step back for a second to ask a question there?
Identify yourself,
I'm
please.
sorry, I'm John. Instead of for the 130,000 for the asphalt, is there any way we can think about maybe going to pavers, check into it to see if maybe that might be cheaper to eventually replace it for cost effective, just to look into it for cost effectiveness?
I can assure you pavers on that parking lot area would be much more expensive than asphalt.
I'm just as a devil's advocate, that's all I'm playing. For cost effectiveness wise.
Yeah, just based on square footage, it wouldn't even be a close match.
I'm just,
We can ask the engineers if there's any other product we could use that might run a little lower, but on a project this size, we don't want to be. Yeah. Oh, I agree. We'll see.
Okay, moving on. Wood shop AC replacement.
As I've shared with the board, there's a picture up there on y'all's table of the interior of the AC from the wood shop, which is approximately 19 years old. It is corroded, rusted, and destroyed. Y'all have gotten your money's worth out of it. I went out and got numerous bids from different AC companies. They range from $5,000 to $8,000. Best bid that we came up with is Allied AC and Heating at $5,088.
Is there any reason that we need to look at one of the higher bids? Does it include more or anything like that?
They all include the same, because it's classified as commercial, you get the same warranty from all of them, which is basically 1 year workmanship, and I think 5 years on parts.
Okay, Donna, you have a question?
Yeah, who is this Cool Tech Heating and Cooling? For
That was,
$57.50.
that was just another company I was recommended to try, and I got a price. But like I said, Allied came at the best at $5,088 as opposed to the $57.50.
Actually, Ed had suggested that one. He's used them and we thought we might get a better price on that one. There was another one we suggested also.
So we've got bids from Cool Tech, Allied, Amen Air, and Steve's,
And RJ Keelty.
and RJ Keel. Yep. And Allied is the cheapest.
Yeah, at $5,088. They're all bidding a 2.5 ton, 14 SEER straight pool with a heat strip. They're all bidding on the same thing.
I don't see where there's much discussion there. Same thing they're bidding, we go with the lowest price.
I didn't think so.
I mean, these are all reputable companies.
Right.
I make a motion that we use Allied AC and Heating to replace the air conditioning in the workshop at an amount of, where is it?
$5,088.
$5,088.
Do we have a second? Do we have a second?
A second.
Donna? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Yep.
Dale Thompson had cheated drive. Do you know how many Sears and air conditioners that you're talking about? Do they know the size of the
Yeah,
building?
the replacement's gonna be a 14 SEER.
Because I know a lot of people who just got new air conditioners for their whole house for like 5,000.
I did too. I put a 5-ton, not that long ago, about a year and a half ago, I put a 5-ton in my house.
Yeah, that's a little work shed. That's.
Yeah, for 6,000.
But you're also
This is
talking,
commercial grade.
and there's a lot of heat generated.
That's true.
So that was all taken into consideration on the size.
Yes.
Okay, moving on, fines and suspensions. Okay.
Two of these were corrected, so they will be in here, but they will not be under the fines. The first one is, I move to fine the owners of 8741 Woodcrest Drive, $50 a day for lawn and landscaping, in violation of toxic covenants up to $5,000.
Second? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
I would recommend all of you take a drive by that property to see how bad it is. It is a mess.
The second one, I move to find the owners of 10727 Hachita Drive, $50 a day for lawn and landscaping.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Wait a minute, question?
Yeah, I've drove by this property too, several times. I have been there when the county has actually been out there several times. We need to do something about this woman. She's not doing anything.
Well, we had one that was dismissed today was the personal items cannot accumulate or be stored on the exterior of the home. That has been taken care of. And I know this has gone on before and I don't know what else we can do. I don't think legally there's anything else we can do with this. Usually what happens is by the time we get to finding, what I understand is her grandchildren come and they help clear everything out. And then she fills it all back up again. So we continually do this. Once she complies to what our HOA rules are, we can't just go in because we know she's got a problem. So we're kind of stuck. But we will keep an eye on it, and as soon as it starts piling up again,
Days now, it should get cleaned
from now on, this was still under the old system. So that was taken care of. Lawn and landscaping was not, that's what the fining is for.
Okay, so we need to vote on this?
Yes.
All in favor, say aye.
I second.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
That is it. Everything else was taken care of. The last one was taken care of. That has been dismissed.
Okay. Discussion of new attorney.
Previously.
Jack, you want to address this?
Yeah, well, previously the association for years had used the law firm of Leonard Mankin. Evidently, John had recommended Carlos Arias to the board, and the board had accepted. I have long experience using Mankin's office for collections and legal opinions. On their collections, they also do not bill the association, they bill the homeowner for the collection process, and they have an hourly wage for legal opinions. I found them to be very responsive. Prompt reports that we can get from the attorney every month for the board meetings. And I would like the board to go back to using the Mankin law firm if at all possible.
I know we talked about this, but there was a reason you brought this up because something that Carlos was doing differently, wanted to change?
Well, Carlos came up and it told me that he could not collect on fines because they were not converted to assessments. Well, the finding process is clearly spelled out in the statute, and he sent me a legal opinion, but that legal opinion was based on legal fees, not fines. I actually sent that over to Mankins' office and asked Melissa Mankin her opinion of Carlos's opinion, and her response was she'd never heard of it. And no other attorney that I've ever dealt with has had any issue with collections on the fines. Only Carlos is the only Arias Law Firm is the only one that I've ever dealt with that issue has come up.
Can we turn Jack's mic up a little bit?
I'm probably just not holding it close enough.
That would help.
Okay, sorry.
That's all right. I don't want to really act on this at this point. I noticed that in the Mankin Law Group, it says all efforts are made to collect late fees and interest owed by a delinquent owner. However, in some cases, late fees and interest may be reduced or waived during settlement to ensure payment of assessments, association, and attorney fees. You know, to me, that's just giving a reason in case they aren't able to collect this. And if they aren't able to collect it from the owner, the delinquent owner, then we're back to us paying it anyway.
No. Let me correct you, Lemay. What she's saying is, and they have done this many times in the past, in order for the association to collect their money, they will waive some of the late fees or late interest on the account, but we will get all the money assessments owed to us.
You're saying Mankin will waive their fees?
No, Mankin will charge their fees, but they'll ask us to waive our late fees or late interest, not all of it, but some of it. But we will collect the initial assessments that are owed. And of course, that's the whole object of the game.
So like if it's 12.5 is owed, and there's $300 in extra fees, they may waive some of that $300 extra fee, but we'll
Yeah,
get the
late fees and interest, yes. But the majority of the time, they go for all of it. They go to collect all of it. And like I said, that all falls on the owner to pay, plus the legal fees.
I guess this might be more than. Speaking to your mic, we can't hear you. We have a contract right now with the other attorney to do this, right? Yes.
You can switch.
Would we be breaking our contract with them to go with Mankin?
No, you can switch attorneys anytime you want.
Switching. Has this been looked into?
It's standard practice for switching law firms. We would let Carlos finish out with the accounts that he has on board right now. And once he's done with all of his work that he has, he just would not receive any more, and any future would go to Lincoln's office.
I would like to look into what we've paid out to Carlos. I mean, to my knowledge, he has done a great job. He was supposed to waive certain fees for us, not charge us for every rinky-dink phone call or anything else that we put. I would like to see what we've paid out to him compared to what we would be paying to Mankin. I just think there's more that needs to be looked into this. I mean, the last time we had, 3 or 4 law services here representing each other, talking to us. I don't want to just jump and switch to someone.
I don't think that we're getting a detailed report from this new attorney.
I do have access to a website with Carlos Arias that I can pull a delinquency report from and get a status report from. So I can do that with the present law firm.
Okay.
Let's
postpone this decision for another month.
Okay, table this.
Okay, that sounds very simple.
We have a motion to postpone.
I make a motion, we postpone the change or discussion of the new attorney until next meeting.
All in second?
So,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Roofing project.
In your package, I gave you all the bids, and I did a cover sheet stating roof replacement breakdown based on GAF specifications. Before I started this project, I consulted with GAF, the shingle manufacturer, is one of the top shingle manufacturers in the country. And they wrote the spec for this job that all these other companies bid on. I was also asked to get pricing on metal roofing as well. This roof is comprised of slope shingle roofs and also flat roofs. As you'll see on the cover sheet, I've showed the pricing for an example, the first one in the row, Foster's Roofing, that using shingles and the standard flat roofs is $123,700, but using metal and doing the flat roofs is $210,160. So that's a considerable increase for using the metal. And as you can see, going down the sheet, the cost goes up exponentially by vendor.
Is anyone familiar with Foster's Roofing? Has anyone heard of them, used them?
Number one, they were recommended by GAF as an elite installer. I asked GAF to give me their top guns in the area.
Okay.
And 3 of these 4 are GAF Elite Master Installers. I have used Foster's Roofing on other roofing projects at other associations, many other associations they've done work for me.
Okay, thank you.
Like I said, the first 3 on the list were recommended by GAF themselves.
Okay, and what is the life expectancy of the shingle roof compared to the metal roof?
Here's where the whole thing turns sour. GAF says they make a 50-year shingle. Of course, you're never going to get 50 years out of a shingle.
Not in Florida.
The insurance companies state after 15 years, you need to replace your roof. If you can get a certified roofer to state you got another 5 years, you can get 20 years out of the roof. Now, I found out that on the metal roof, you're getting a maximum on the insurance companies of 25 years. So there's a 5-year difference in dealing with the insurance company at a considerable higher increase on the metal cost.
Well, does the, can you do the same with a metal roof as with a shingle roof as far as getting an extension for longer?
That I'm unsure of.
Eileen? What's the drawback with the metal roof aside from the noise?
Well, I was not only told about the noise, that let's say you're having an event here and there's a metal roof on it, you got a heavy rain coming down, you're not gonna be able to hear anything. Number 2, the noise they make when they're heating and cooling, popping and pinging as they get hot and as they cool down. I was also informed that the metal roofs would interfere with cell phone reception as well.
It will.
Where did you get this information from? I haven't heard it. First off, our roofs, other than here, are above where we are, and there's insulation. There's good insulation. I mean, we're not in a trailer here. I know in a trailer, you're certainly going to hear it, but I've never heard of that with metal roofs, and I have friends that have metal and have never complained about that. When you're looking at Foster's, we're looking at metal roofs compared to shingle roofs, and it's a difference. It's an additional $86,000. But when you're talking 50 years on a shingle roof, the insurance company, who are greedy as far as I'm concerned, are giving you 15 years on a 50-year roof, and 20 if you have it inspected. We're getting 25 years on a metal roof, and that doesn't include any inspections or anything else with that, for a difference of $86,000. So we're talking possibly 10 years more than we would get. I mean, in 15 years, do we want to replace a roof again for $123? I don't.
It would definitely be higher in 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah, so it wouldn't be 123. If we're at 210, we have a guarantee of, I would say, 25 years. I don't know what the manufacturer of the metal roofs guarantees, but it should be a little better.
Yeah, I've heard that they last like 80 years. But,
Yeah.
yes, you have a comment? Dave, was that your name?
I don't know, is it on?
Yeah.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm John. You get those metal roofs, I know my dad, he used to work with them, and you cool seal them. There's a coating you put on top of the metal, it helps keep, it reflects back the sun. And it'll deaden the noise from the rain also.
Wouldn't that also depend on the color that you choose?
I'm hard.
Wouldn't that also, depend on the color you choose for the metal roof? I mean, if you choose a dark color, I'm sure it's going to be a lot worse than if you choose a lighter color.
That I don't
You
know.
don't know?
I just know the cool seal, it does, it helps keep it cool. And also protects the metal, and it also keeps it deadens it.
Also, I've attached to the back of the Foster's proposal, the color chart of the metals roofs. Yeah, you can go from a light sandstone or ash gray all the way down to a matte black. But of course, the lighter colors would be less heat absorbing.
Do you know if that cool seal is included in a metal roof install?
These roofs are just powder coated or painted from the factory when they're manufactured. They don't come raw metal.
On the bottom of the color chart, it says SR, cool roof, UV reflectivity, and emissivity, whatever that is. And Energy Star, so it has a rating on there. If you let's look at the sandstone, which is a gray color. The cool roof reflectivity is 54 as compared to the matte black, which is 25. So I guess part of that is that, but we can maybe check into the cool seal on that.
Yeah, there's one down here.
67.
67.
I like that one.
Alpha Lumi.
Yeah. So,
Ed,
Yes, I mean.
what do we have in reserves for the roof?
We have 144 or 145,000.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Patty?
Patricia French Wiselet, again, the budget committee always goes round and round about this with the roofs. We're in the process of getting a new reserve study, and invariably it comes in at 20 years. And what we have found is it's between 12 and 15 years for a roof, and then you gotta fix it, or they start leaking, as we found out. And it's a never-ending process of trying to get enough money in there. There are other funds available if you folks decide to go with the metal roof. Personally, I hope you do. I'm tired of fighting with reserve studies, but it's something you have to plan on by year 12 to 15.
Right now, we do have the extra money.
yeah.
Because
And if we're talking 12 to 15 years, that's our lowest.
yeah.
That's a quick question.
Dave?
Yeah. Would it be cheaper for the insurance on a metal roof compared to an asphalt roof? Will we save money on insurance with a metal roof over an asphalt roof?
I don't believe so.
I would think it would be cheaper.
I think the question is the longevity.
Dave, you're talking insurance companies.
Yeah, because I figure if we save money on it, it probably would be worth it in the long run.
Go ahead, Dale.
Dale Thompson at Chia Drive. For a long time, I've been watching houses get the solar on, and I've been hearing all the things about solar. I wait, and I just went to my neighbor the other day, who's now had it on for over a year, going on 2 years, and I asked him if he was happy with it. If nobody wants to do it, I will gladly find some other organizations, HOA communities, that have big buildings, and if I can find them with a metal roof, I'll call and ask them, how long has it been on? Have you had any problems with it? Are you glad you did it? My way of thinking is always, don't do anything unless you know somebody that's done it before, and you check to make sure they're happy with it first. And I think our mics need new batteries. They're all squealing.
Thank you, Dale. Any other comments on this? Do we need to vote on this today?
When's the next big rain coming?
This building you're talking about, well, you know, this roof out here
does have cool seal on it.
And Harold.
Bill, I believe you're referring to the
Are you
flat
talking
roofs.
the flat roof?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He said he believes that the roofs out here, the flat roofs, already have a cool seal on them. And actually,
This would be replacing both the shingles and the flat roofs. Because Chris and I was involved in these roofs that you got on here now. Big problem with our roofs are the air conditioning on top. They leak pretty bad. And we had a lot of trouble getting the people back out here to seal.
is there any other, can we put the air conditioning units on the ground? Do we want to? Is it better where it is? Does this include removing and putting the air conditioning air conditioners?
They're on the required newer model stands that do not require removal during the roof replacement.
Okay, Jack, can you check more on the metal roof for us? And then we'll take this up next month.
Okay, so you want me to look into the insurance aspect of it as well?
Yeah, that aspect, the cool seal, and, if that's included with the installation.
Yeah. I don't think anyone wants to replace roofs 12 to 15 years. And the problem with that is, even with the 12 to 15 years, during those 12 to 15 years, we are doing all kinds of repair work on the roofs that are already on the shingle roofs, which is what we've tried for since the building was built. And we also then have problems with the damage that the leaks from these roofs are doing to the inside of our building. So I for one, would really like to put a metal roof on it and see what we can do with that.
I usually don't make Ed Heber, Dollar Lake Drive, I usually don't make opinions, but I do have a experience with metal roofs. I've had one on my establishments up in New York. It's been on there for 35 years right now. And the difference is it a standing seam? If you're looking at, is that what you're talking about, standing seam?
Yes.
Okay. There are two styles of roofing, of standing seam and another one where they screw it to the roof. And common manufacturer of that is Fabrile. But most of what you're talking Galvalume, that is the undercoating of all the aluminum, all the steel roofs. That is, instead of being called galvanization, it's the same type of material that's used on your automobiles now. And the color is applied thereafter. So when the color goes, necessarily the roof don't go. Then you can always have them repainted at that time.
Well, they're actually saying that Galvalume here is one of the colors that the roof comes in. I don't know if it's a treatment or if it's just a color.
Galvalume is the type of treatment that the metal has so it does not rust.
Have you had problems with your roof?
No.
So your opinion is?
My opinion is up north, it's very good because it sheds the snow and all the other elements, and it's long lasting. This is like shingles where one blows off, it stays on. But standing seam is what he has was the best because it doesn't have the screws. There's a clip that goes onto the roof itself, and the roof is attached to that clip. So when you look up there, you don't see, then there's a piece of equipment. They run over the two edges, they pull it down, and it crimps it over one to the other. I was an old building inspector, so I know it. I've watched them do that many times.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ed. Eileen?
Okay, hey, Jack, can we check with our insurance company to see if there'd be a difference?
I've already made that note. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Well, this is why too, I'm glad that we have people like yourself, sir, that come up, that have been in this kind of business, that can give us advice, since we may or may not know the issues. So thank you.
Are we tabling this or what did we do?
I think we
Anything?
decided to table it until we get some of the
Gets,
information.
we're
I
gonna
want more
let
information.
Jack get the more information and then we'll put it on the agenda for next month. No, we didn't make a motion. Anybody want to make a motion?
I make a motion, we postpone the vote on the roofing until the next meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. Next item, request for use of auditorium. There's a request from the Thursday Musicale. Use of the clubhouse auditorium on February 6, 2024. Will be a fundraising concert starting at 7. John Timpanelli will be the intermission and will need to have access to the clubhouse around 3 p.m. Choir members will start arriving at 6.
Just one note, February 6th is the wrong date. Do we have a correct date? March 6th.
Okay,
Close.
so Debbie, you take care of the schedule. Is this available at that time?
March 6th is a Wednesday evening, yes.
Okay, we've done this before. Is there any objection?
Who is this for?
Pardon?
The Thursday Musical is a group. There's a number of women in our community that actually sing in it. And what they do is they hold these concerts. They're all volunteers. And what money they raise goes for scholarships for high school students who are graduating in the music field.
We've had them before.
Yes.
You want to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion that we allow Thursday Musical to use the auditorium on March 6, 2024.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, we already talked about appointment of a director. We need to, so if anyone's interested in serving for a few months until the next election, that position is available. Please leave your name at the office.
You asked me for a resume or just me?
Okay, insurance, Rick was gonna address this.
Me, so we know, if they question us.
Just names. Right, so Rick was gonna address this. Dave does a cart parade, usually around Christmas and other times too. But Rick wanted to get this on the agenda that we approve the use of the cart parade around the neighborhood, so that in case any incidents happen, it would be covered by our insurance.
We've never done this before?
We've never approved it. It's always been something separate, Dave, right?
What happened, I guess, if Rick was here, he'd be able to tell you more about it. I guess they figure because it is Timber Oaks, and it would, just in case somebody did get hurt, it would be covered. And it is a non-function of Timber Oaks, so we do it on our own. But it seems like it's getting bigger every year. This year we are gonna add some new things, donations for toys, and they are gonna stay in Pasco County. It's definitely getting bigger every year. I mean, we started out with 2 carts, and we're up over 50. And I know a little more than that this year, because people are buying carts just for the parade.
Okay, so a motion would be in order to approve the golf cart parade run by Dave.
I make a motion, we approve the golf
Can I
cart.
say
parade.
something?
Yeah,
Sure.
there's discussion after.
I started the golf cart parade when I first moved in, and we started with 2 golf carts. We carry insurance on our golf carts year round, and it's not expensive. I don't think Timber Oaks or the other residents need to pay for golf cart insurance. Each individual has a car, they have insurance. If they have a golf cart, they need to get insurance to protect themselves. That's my opinion.
And as your manager, I would just personally advise against the association taking on that liability. I'm just looking at it from a management aspect that she is correct. Everybody should be carrying their own insurance, and I would advise to leave it at that and not put the association at any risk here.
Donna?
Can we amend the motion that we have it? Okay, then can we say that we will allow it, provided that everybody provide their own insurance?
I think if we even touch it like that, if we agree to it, then we're liable. I think we leave it the way it is.
Okay, motion failed. Okay. Correspondence, 8025 Pasadena, request to rescind fines. Is homeowner here? John, you want to come up to the microphone?
Let me bring it to you.
Can you hear me, sir?
No.
No.
Okay,
It's those technical things. Yes,
you
sir.
want to present your case why you shouldn't be fined?
I never received any mail. My legal address wasn't there at first. I was still living at another address, which my mail was still going there. I had some,
But don't you agree it's your obligation to let us know you have a different address?
I didn't know.
Well, you had to know when you were buying in a deed restricted community that you had certain obligations, didn't you?
I still didn't know that I was supposed to check in. Didn't know I was supposed to go through an orientation. That I didn't know. Nobody told me that.
Did you know that you were supposed to keep your yard up? And
Yes, and I was having some financial problems. I was having a lot of health problems too. You know, I'm not saying I'm trying to get out of it. I'm just saying this is, I was just going through having a lot of problems. And, you know, I'm not saying I'm totally, it's just, the fine is really stiff. I mean, I understand I'm still having some obligation to it.
where are you at in the finding process?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm extremely hard of hearing. I'm sorry.
Where are you in the finding process? Has it went to $50 a day?
I think it's, the bottom line was 3,000. The bottom line. And that's really, I can't afford that. That's, I mean, you know, and it's just, that's, you know, if it was something, you know, I understand some fine should be deemed out. I'm not denying that. Shouldn't be fined, but 3,000 is too much.
When did you purchase this house?
October of last year. I just moved in September of this year, just last September of 20th.
Okay, Debbie, did we get any of these letters returned?
Well, not the first or second. I don't have record of the first or second notice, but I do have record of the one that we send certified. And on the envelope that it came back in, it stated that it's, I put it in your packet. There's no forwarding address.
Unable to forward, no forwarding address.
that was received the end of September of 2023. You know, whether or not you got the notices or not, you are responsible for the property here. And I saw the property before it was fixed, and it was horrendous, to put it mildly.
I understand. Like I said, I'm not saying I'm.
Wait, let me finish. You came in and apparently talked to Jack. I went out after that, and the property was not touched. So in the 2-3 weeks after you talked to Jack, property was still the way it was. I mean, I went out with an address, and I'm looking for numbers on the houses, and as soon as I looked, I knew exactly which house it was. As a member of an HOA, which is what this is, you're responsible for your house, and the fact that you bought the house and no address was given to us doesn't give us the reason to cut your fines. I'm sorry to say that, but we can't. We've had other residents who have asked for this, and if it's not our fault, which it is not our fault that we couldn't get a hold of you, we certainly spent enough money and time trying to, and the property was still left this way for months. So I don't know where you want us to go with this.
It was only.
You bought the house, you said in.
It was only a couple of months it was like that. It was only maybe 30 days, maybe 40 days.
On our process, you get 3 letters, 2 weeks apart. First letter, 2 weeks later, a second letter. 2 weeks later, a third letter. 2 weeks later, it starts to go into finding. So you're talking 2 months right there from the time it started, and it had to get that before we cited you. You're talking a good amount of time.
Because the last time I had a service on it in March, in April it wasn't, because I couldn't get to it, and then in May I got to it, got it mowed. Now I know the beds were bad, but then we got back into it and got it. The beds were bad, I know that. We just got it cleaned out. I just had somebody clean the beds out.
Eileen? You own the property, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're saying the issue is with the post office? No?
No, he didn't say that. He's just saying he didn't get the letters because we didn't have a forwarding address. The post office didn't have a forwarding address.
Well, if you own property in Timber Oaks, you have to take care of it. No matter where you're at, there's a lot of snowbirds here that are up north that aren't here, but they hire people to take care of it.
Well, I didn't have the money to be able to do that.
Well,
I understand that, John, but you can hire a lawn
I
company.
didn't have the money to do that.
You can hire a lawn company.
they're like $15.
$40 a month.
I mean, I don't know.
I didn't have the money, I'm trying to tell you. I was going through problems and health problems.
Well, it's part of the demonstration. I mean,
So we're not gonna be able to work
most
this out.
people know what the rules are
John,
before they.
the reason we can't is because we have dealt with this before in the past and we have never gone back on it. So it's kind of hard for us to say, okay, for you, we'll do it, because then we set a precedence. I'm very sorry.
That's fine, okay. Thank you.
And honestly, you can do a payment plan. Let them know, if you notified them when it was fixed,
Well, we're gonna
finding
have-
would stop at that
We're gonna
point.
have to do $10 a month, because that's all I can afford.
Talk to the office or talk to our lawyer on that.
I'm sorry?
I talk to either, we can talk to our lawyer about it or whatever and figure out how to do it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Any other business before the board? This meeting is adjourned. Open forum. Dave?
Yeah, hi. I just want to say a couple things. For one, I got a lot, when I went to Bocce the other day, everybody was commenting how nice the marsh looks. I think it looks great. I saw the guy out here spraying the lake. It looks like it's getting better. So, and I think the maintenance group around here did a great job. I really do. But there's one thing that I mentioned last month that I know you're doing all this mulch and everything, it looks really nice, but when you come in that, your entrance right here, the one out right out here, it should have some sod put in there. And you can't, if you put mulch down, the rain's just gonna wash it away, so I think the sod would be the better of the two. And because the roots show, if you notice when you come in, the roots from the tree show.
On Maricopa, are you talking?
Right out here, and it's just right out here in the parking lot, when you come into the parking lot.
Oh, okay.
The roots show, and it really, I brought it up last month about, maybe we should put sod down there and just kind of make it look a little more presentable when you pull in. But besides that, I think you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you, Dave. Anyone else on open forum? Seeing none, adjourn the meeting. Adjourn the open forum.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.